アナスが好き？は？そんなわけないでしょ。ありえないわ。
Why the fuck you lying?
The Misfit Demon Academy is a ridiculous show with a ridiculously overpowered protagonist doing ridiculous stuff. And I'm here for it. Hello, I'm Zeosphere, and today we'll be going over Misfit, a Demon King Academy's story, characters, music, animation, and general fun factor. So if you haven't already, subscribe for more anime reviews, and let's see if this overpowered fantasy is worth your time. Story. 2,000 years ago, the Demon King Anos Voldigo, tired of war, decides to sacrifice himself in order to build that dimensional wall to separate them races. 2,000 years back into the future, however, he is reincarnated into a world of peace, with magic and demons being weaker than they were back in his day. Along with that, there is strong racist divides between the pure blood royals and the hybrids. Ready to reclaim his crown of Demon King, he goes to Demon King Academy, but there he finds out that Demon King's identity was swapped with another name, leading others to doubt his claim of being the reincarnation of the Demon King. Well, I kinda don't understand why they doubted him in the very first episode, but okay. Thus begins the sort of mystery plot as he tries to piece together the events of the last 2,000 years and why things have turned out the way they have. Alright class, did you understand any of that? Not really? Okay, good, so we're on the same page then. Yeah, the plot line of the story really just boils down to Anos trying to find out exactly why the demons of the current day got his name wrong, as well as a few historical inaccuracies. And also dealing with racism, I guess, because he's a hybrid technically and doubted by the purebloods because of it. But also, he's proven to be the Demon King in like the first episode, but like they don't get that through their heads for some reason. Yeah, there are a lot of plot holes and non-starters in this story in the world of Misfit Demon King Academy. How does the magic system work? I don't know. It is what it is. Why would anyone want to fuck with the same guy who killed the time god? I don't know. It is what it is. Why do people even care about purebloods versus hybrids? It is what it is. The same guy who got his ass handed to him in a way several layers higher than eviscerated twice comes back for a third time pulling the Big Brother card. Why does he do this? I don't know. It is what it is. These are just a few problems with the structure of the story in the first half of the show. To put it simply, the only, and I mean only, possible intrigue with the story would be the slight mystery of the lost history. Other than that, there never really is a good sense of tension in the story, because really, if the guy can do basically anything, why worry about an antagonistic force working behind the scenes? Characters. There are only a few characters that even have enough light of day to warrant talking about. Let's start with Anos Voldigo, the overpowered Demon King that fights to prove that he is in fact reincarnated. He's portrayed as a kind-hearted demon that will use his powers to fix his friends' problems or punish those that cross him. And since he's so powerful, he doesn't simply kill his foes. He literally forces painful lessons onto them in order to teach them the errors of their ways. For the flex, of course. Then there are the sisters, Sasha and Misha Necron, meant to fill the harem. They are like Rei and Asuka, but what if you had no personality and they just loved Anos and each other? They had a bit of an arc in the first few episodes when it's shown that they were originally one soul split into two. They wanted the other to live on when inevitably they reached the day that they combined back together, but that's about as far as they get with having interesting character plots. And I guess I would leave Lei as the last and only somewhat interesting character, purely because of his being torn between his friends and his mother's well-being and other things later on in the show. But that's about it with characters that we even get some time with. There are of course a lot of other characters floating around, like the cheerleading squad, which I think is pure cringe every time they're on screen, Anos' parents, the demon emperors, etc. But no one really has any depth beyond the role they play in the story, and the story's already messy, so don't look too hard for great characters beyond the climax of the story. Music. The OP is Seikai Fuseikai by Civilian. It's this J-rock song that goes pretty hard with tense synths and blaring guitars. The entire song is energy that is consistent and in your face with small breaks just to slam you again with its energy. It's pretty good, but sort of met to me with how compressed the entire song sounds. I don't think it's going into my playlist. Then there's the ending, Hamidashimono by Tomori Kusunoki. It's another J-rock song, but fortunately there is some width and range with its instruments. It's still going to get you going with the electric guitars and the jumpy drums, but this time it also has piano to lift the instrumentation of the track and give each section great definition. Probably my favorite track from the show. The background tracks, on the other hand, range from cookie cutter to cringe. It's mainly orchestrated tracks, but really none of them are going to pique your interest too much as I sink into the background. The cringe comes from whenever the cheerleading squad sings, and you know what I'm talking about if you ever seen the show. In this case, the show is heavily carried by the OP and ending with not much else to speak of. Animation. Silverlink, the animation studio that I keep seeing from the past few seasons, strikes again with producing another above average work. But this time, the animation in Misfit of Demon King Academy is actually probably some of their better work. They definitely tried with the action scenes of the show, with the fights during the high points of the show looking really nice, but when things slide back down, you'll find a functional amount of quality along with the backgrounds that just don't look nice. Like, I understand this is the demon realm, but it always looks drab and boring. Luckily enough, the show is pretty consistent with the amount of hype stuff Anos does, so you'll be met with the better half of the animation budget more times than not, but when it isn't showing you the goods, it's showing you enough to get to the next flex scene. Though also sometimes the effects can kinda look funky and strange with what I'm guessing is them blending CGI effects, so your mileage might vary. Fun factor. What can I say? I'm trash. I can eat a big bowl of overpowered shit if that shit could throw hands with God on a whim. There is a reason overpowered fantasy shows are pretty popular, and that is because as long as the show can show you the characters doing awesome stuff, then it has done its duty, and Misfit of Demon King Academy is no exception. Anos can do basically anything from curing rare diseases to flinging castles to fighting against the personification of time itself. I love the flexes, and I love even more that he doesn't stop at killing his opponents. That's just too easy. No, a real win is him forcing them to learn why they are in the wrong with their actions and to completely submit to him. But mindless power can start to get boring after a bit if you don't have stakes or a goal to work towards, and unfortunately Misfit doesn't have the clearest goals when it comes to what it wants to do with a power besides being Demon Jesus. Probably the best thing it has going for it is that they use Anos' magical MacGuffin powers in pretty creative ways to fix the problems of his friends, and honestly I can get behind it if not to admire the fights and the lengths he'll go to make sure everything goes his way. Conclusions. The Misfit of Demon King Academy is a show that likes to be flashy as you follow the Demon King as he tries to prove to people that he is who he is, and then scratch your head of why some of these people just can't accept it even after he throws a damn castle at their face. Averaging all of our scores, we come to a final score of 5.4 out of 10. For alternate overpowered recommendations, try Overlord for an overpowered villain as he carefully and accidentally tries to take over the world. For something more lighthearted and comedic, then One Punch Man might be up your alley. Thanks for watching. I'm Zeosphere and I make regular anime reviews. Comment below what you thought about Misfit of Demon King Academy, like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe for videos just like this, and don't forget to check out the brand new Discord. Until next time, stay cultured.